Hello dear all. Today's lesson shows the relation between decimals, fractions, and percents. First, how to transform a number from decimal form to fraction form. Our question is, write the decimals as fractions in simplest form. Let's have the first example. The first example is 0.6 and it is read as 6/10 because 6 is in the tenths place value. So how do I write it as a fraction? I write it as 6/10 because it's 6/10. Again, it's 6/10, so it's 6/10. After this, we have to simplify it if it is not in the simplest form. And of course, 6 and 10 can be simplified by dividing the 6 and the 10 divided by 2, because both of them, the greatest common factor between 6 and 10 is 2. This gives us 3/5 or 3/5, and this is the fraction of 6/10 in simplest form. Another example, we have 9 and 85/100. Please, if you don't remember the place value, look back into the video of the place value and place value chart. So it is 9 and 85/100. How do I write it? We have a whole number part, which is 9, and we have a decimal part, which is 85 after the decimal point. So this, let us do it like this. We have to write the 9 as it is. The whole number part does not change. What changes, or what is going to be a fraction, is the decimal part, which is the 85. So the 9 remains as it is, and the 0.85 would be 85/100 because it is 85/100. So it is 9 and 85/100 like this. Now, can I simplify 85 and 100? Yes, of course, I can simplify by dividing 85 and 100 by the greatest common factor, which is 5. This is going to be 9 and 17/20. Next, how to transform fractions to decimals. So this is the other way around. So if given 9/12, this is the fraction, I want to write it as a decimal. To write it as a decimal, we're first going to simplify it. So make it the simplest form by dividing up and down by the greatest common factor of 9 and 12, which is 3. So we divide up by 3 and down by 3, which gives us 3/4 or 3/4. After this, we have to write the fraction with denominator either 10 or 100 or 1000. In our case here, the 4 can be 10 or 100 or 1000. 4 cannot be 10. We cannot multiply 4 by a number to get 10 directly, but we can multiply 4 by a number to get 100. So we multiply both numbers, both numerator and denominator, by 25. So because 4 times 25 is 100. So after we multiply 4 times 25, we get 100, and 3 times 25, we get 75. So the answer will be 75/100. Still, we did not finish. We want to write it as a decimal. To write it as a decimal, we know 75/100 is written as 0.75. Let's take another example. The number is mixed number. It is not only a fraction, it is mixed number with a whole number part, which is 1 and 102/250. So what do we do here? I know that 250 can be multiplied by 4 to get 1000. But before this, I will write the number as 1 plus the fraction. So the whole number part plus the fraction part. After this, we'll multiply both numerator and denominator by 4, so that I can get 250 to be 1000. Again, here the 1 remains as it is, and the 250 times 4, I got 1000. 102 times 4, I got 408. Now you add them together, you will get 1 and 408 thousandths. So because 408/1000, I write it as 1.408. If you don't understand this, what happened here is 1 plus 408 thousandths is written as 0.408. And if you add them together, you will get 1.408, which is the answer here. Okay, so now we want to get percents to be fraction. A percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So you know that a ratio is a comparison between two quantities, and percent means it's a ratio which compares the other number is always to be 100. 45%. We want to write 45% as a fraction. So to write it as a fraction, first we write it, the percent, we transform it as 45 over 100. So we write it as a fraction with denominator 100. This means that this sign, the percent, means the number over 100, like this. So it will be written as 45 over 100. After this, because I want it as a fraction, I do not leave it like this. I always simplify. So we simplify by dividing both of them by the greatest common factor between both of them, which is 5. 45 and 100 divided by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 100 divided by 5 equals 20. And of course, 9 over 20 is the simplest form. Another example, 5%. We again write it as a fraction with denominator 100 because this is the percentage sign, which means it's over 100. So we write it as 5 over 100. Now ask yourself, is it in the simplest form or you need to simplify it more? Of course, it should be simplified more by dividing by the greatest common factor, which is 5. So the answer will be 1 over 20. Now, I want to write fractions to be percent. If you are given a fraction like 6/8 and I want to write it as a percent, remember to write it as a percent, it should be over 100. And this over 100 will be transformed into this sign, which is percentage sign. So I need to transform the 8 to be 100. The easiest thing is that the first step you simplify to the simplest form. To simplify 6/8, you divide both numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. And what is the greatest common factor between 6 and 8? It is 2. So it will be 3/4. 3 over 4, we then write it as a fraction with denominator 100. So what do you do to make 4 be 100? We multiply both numerator and denominator by 25 because 4 times 25 equals 100. Remember this. Okay, so this means that 4 times 25 equals 100 and 3 times 25 equals 75. So now the fraction became 75 over 100 or 75 hundredths. How to write it into percent? We just, instead of putting over 100, we put it here as percent. Again, another example, we have 12 over 40. We want to write it as a fraction, as a percent. So the first thing is you simplify by dividing 12 and 40 by the greatest common factor, which will be 4 in this case. So 12 divided by 4 is 3 and 40 divided by 4 is 10. And then we want to write it as a fraction with denominator 100. Of course, to make 10 to be 100, you multiply by 10 up and you multiply by 10 down. So you multiply both numerator and denominator by 10. So you get 30 over 100. Sorry, this was written wrong. So it is 30 hundredths. And this means that it is written as, instead over 100, we write it in percentage sign is 30%. The last relationship is between decimals and percents. Now I want to write a decimal number into a percent form. If I have 0.38, which is read as 38 hundredths, how do I write it in percent? First, I will write it as fraction over 100 as you see here. So it is 38 hundredths, so it's equal to 38 over 100. And because I know that over 100 is transformed into the percentage sign, this means it's equal to 38%, and it's so easy. Another example, 0.2. Here it is 2/10, and 2/10 is written as 2 over 10. But can I do this as a percent? First, I have to transform the 10 to be 100. So to transform 10 into 100, you multiply both numerator and denominator by 10. So it will be 20 over 100, and this means it's equal to 20%. Dear all, we have finished our lesson. I hope you understand and you like it. Thank you for learning, and thank you for following me, and please subscribe and like it. Bye.